Welcome to the Great American Collectibles Show, brought to you each week by the National Sports Collectors Convention. Join us every Wednesday evening at 6:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time and get the latest news from the greatest experts in the sports collectibles world. You can watch us on the Great American Collectibles Facebook page, as well as YouTube, or you can listen to us on Spotify, Pandora, iHeartRadio, or any of your favorite podcast platforms. And now your hosts, award-winning sports collectibles author Tom Zappola and Boston sports media personality John Mallory.
Hey, my man, how you doing?
What's up, buddy?
Well, you know, rumors circulating. I know you were in Aruba, for 2 weeks?
A week, just a week.
Come on, man. Did you pop the question?
Yes, I did. Will you get me another drink, honey? I did. Yes, I did.
You know, first of all, that's disgraceful. It's absolutely. But I guess the bottom line is
no. We had an unbelievable tie. I'd never been there before, and I cannot wait to go back.
So things are developing.
Things are very good. Things are very good. Yeah. Other areas of my life are terrible, but that's awesome.
Do Ellen and I, if things develop, will Ellen and I get an invite?
Why are we even going to go there now? What are we doing?
Welcome to the Great American Collectibles Show. Tom Zappola, my good friend and co-host, John Mallory. We've got a great show today. Our good friend from Heritage Auction, Mike Provenzale, is going to be with us for the entire hour. We have not a new segment, but we're going to start bringing in some cool collector friends of ours in the second hour, the second segment.
Recording in progress.
Michael Variale is going to be joining us. His company is called Sports Cards The Hobby, but Michael's a passionate collector, and right now we're bringing in our good friends, Beauty and the Beast. I always call them. With all due respect, Chuck, you are a handsome.
It's okay. I take everything as a compliment.
He's
Stacy and Chuck Whisman from Wheatland Auctions. Welcome, guys. Hey, right out of the gate.
Listen, wait. He's a handsome bald man, and I know what I'm talking about. Right?
Very good. Yeah.
I prefer shaved, not bald.
That's right.
Hey, before we get into your current auction, what kind of a year you had, right before we went on the air, you told us about a little kind of a cool thing that happened to you guys, last Tuesday? Why don't you tell us about that, Chuck?
Sure. So we have been really fortunate to have connected with the Card Life TV show that's hosted by Matt Strom of the Phillies. And they decided to do a segment called Day in the Life of a Card Shop. And so they came to our store. Brandon is the producer of the show, was here and spent the day with us in the evening and kind of went through a full day, was able to see consignments coming in for the auction, was able to see, different customers coming in. We had box breaking that night. It was a really fun day. It was a long day for him, but he seems like he's got a lot of good footage, and our store and auction company will be featured in the March episode. So we're really looking forward to that.
We probably had we had hundreds of people that day.
It was a busy
just so
day.
happened that.
Yeah.
I mean, I was going to say that,
everything.
and that wasn't by design. It just happened, correct?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Oh,
In fact, Uncle Jimmy's niece even stopped by that day, so he was able to talk to Jeannie. That was pretty cool.
Try to let us know air dates for that, and we'll promote it on social media and everything.
We'll do that.
I think it starts airing March 15th. So.
Okay.
Yeah,
Awesome.
I mean, make sure, Chuck, because as I said, we'll post it right on the GACS Facebook page and YouTube and all that stuff. Absolutely.
Yeah.
All right, listen, I got a question. So let's talk about 2024 first. Were you happy with the results, the way it all came together?
Yeah. You want to talk?
Yeah, sure. 2024 was such a strong year for us. We saw some great consignments coming in. We got to work with a lot of really wonderful families, and we're able to really help some different families sort through inheritance things that they received that had no idea what to do with them or what they were, and we're able just to help guide them and bring their items successfully to auction. So. For the most part, it was a really successful year. We had a great year.
The store was busier than ever. I mean, from Black Friday through recently, I mean, the traffic was unlike ever.
Yeah.
So the hobby is really good. I was just at a local card show that was a new show, and you couldn't even move. I mean, they had probably thousands of people at a regional card show. It was kind of like a national convention vibe. So the hobby's good.
Chuck, let me ask you, at the show that you were at, what was the mix of product? I was at a card show this past Sunday with a friend of ours, Staten Island Joe Marino, and it was like mind-boggling. One of them, it was at a huge racetrack down here in West Palm Beach. Out of, I would say, 50% of the dealers were Pokemon dealers. I'm serious, man. Are you guys seeing a lot of that, or was it?
Pokemon is crazy. At a lot of the regional shows I see, you're probably seeing 15 to 20% gaming Pokemon or more sometimes. A lot of current era stuff. And vintage is probably what's shrinking the most as far as pure vintage dealers.
I agree. I mean, I was shocked as to how few vintage dealers there were. So my question to you is, I mean, you're on the front lines. Is the vintage market starting to kind of, I don't even know what the word is. I mean, is there a vintage recession coming, or are we in it?
I think the high-end vintage, there's always going to be a demand for the nice high-grade Mickey Mantles, the rare tobacco and Babe Ruth stuff. Younger people, when I look at people, because we see it every day at the store, people, I'd say under 40, and the younger you get, the more prevalent it is. Most of them are football and basketball ahead of baseball. So the vintage people over 40, baseball is always number one. And I think that's the biggest thing we see. Right?
Well, and then I will also jump in because it's interesting you said Pokemon, because here in the store, we are struggling to keep Pokemon in stock. And we are sending out every week cards for grading for our customers. And I think we're almost getting to a 50-50 ratio of sports cards and Pokemon cards that are going out, and other gaming cards that are going out for grading. So
I think JM, I think we need to take a Pokemon course. And I'm serious. I don't know a damn thing of Pokemon.
I don't either. Yeah.
We're going to ask Prove when Prove comes on. I want to find out his take on what we just talked about with the vintage, modern, all that stuff. Let's talk about your auction, guys. Tell us about your current auction. Just opened up.
Yeah, it goes live Sunday coming up here. So, and it ends on Sunday, March 16th.
March 16th,
right?
Yeah.
And it's a good mix. We still have a lot of autographs from the Al Hine collection. So we've gone through hundreds of thousands of autographs from this collection. This auction alone, we probably have over 30, 40,000 at least autographs from this collection. And we love going through it for the family because you never know who you can find. Two of my favorites. This is, if you can see, it's Brian Piccolo.
Oh, wow.
Oh, wow. Nice.
And the beautiful thing, when he got them, he would write the date. So on the top corner here, it shows 1969.
Yeah.
So as he would write to players, he would use a typewriter to type the date. Some of them are
wait a minute, didn't he die? When did he pass?
Probably about 6 years ago, I guess.
No, Brian Piccolo.
Oh, Brian Piccolo. I thought you meant the collector. Brian Piccolo, I think, passed in 1971.
Oh, did he? Was it 71?
Really, he became more famous after the movie came out,
right
after his death. So really, there weren't many people collecting or asking Brian Piccolo for his autograph. So there's not many out there.
I got to tell you guys a real quick story. And then when I was in college, it must have been 72 then, the movie had come out, and there was about 8 of us that jammed into my dorm room to watch the movie. And I'll never forget this. Like, these are all the guys are drinking and tough and stuff, right? At the end of the movie, you could hear a pin drop because all you heard was
Yeah.
it was unbelievable.
That's a tough one. That's a tough one,
in
man.
the room, and everybody was like teared up. Just unbelievable.
Yeah.
Right, so what are some of the other items in the auction?
A great tobacco collection. We have another 5-grade redback Ty Cobb. So really nice collection there. Some of the current stuff. One of my favorites is an Albert Pujols refractor autograph rookie.
Nice.
And this is probably, a $5,000 to $10,000 card. The Ty Cobb, I mean, I just love when you get high-grade tobacco cards, and a really nice collection there. And we love the story behind the consigners and the people. It's an auction that we have some autographs to from a collector in the 1930s. She worked in the Chicago train station, and she kept an autograph album, and she would get people to sign the autograph album. So there's Alfred Hitchcock in this auction. Our previous auction had Walt Disney. And some really obscure, hard to find autographs. You know,
You
It
know,
really, it's kind of a really varied auction. I mean, there's a lot of, it's an interesting mix, and this time around for you guys. Right on the first page, I saw the Walt Disney postcards and then a Jackie Robinson pin. It's like there's some really interesting items you have.
yeah, it's always a good mix, and we get a lot of the current stuff too because of our store.
Right.
We have some people that'll open high end stuff and right away say, just put it in the next auction.
So do you get, I was going to add, do you get a lot of crossover with people in the store then taking part, whether it's bidding or like you're talking about in the auctions?
Yeah, we probably get at least 20-30% from people who might open new stuff and want to put it in the auction. Or a lot of people come in asking about grading and
I was just going to say that a lot of people bring cards or collections in for grading, not quite knowing what they want to do, and we help them through that process. And then, if they're ready to sell, it's a nice avenue to direct them towards.
That's
Hey,
awesome.
Before we let you guys go, are you happy with the PSA turnarounds for you? For you guys specifically, are you happy?
That's a question for you. I mean,
I think they've gotten better with that. We do a lot with SGC too. SGC is pretty quick on the turnarounds and customer service, and because a lot of it too is on the customer service side, being able to connect to somebody and be like, "Hey, need a favor, have an auction ending. Can you get these done a little faster, or guarantee a turnaround?"
Good.
And we always have JSA here, looking at autographs. So we don't have any autograph in any auction that hasn't been looked at by the autograph expert.
Awesome. All right. What's the start and finish date again?
So this auction will begin this coming Sunday, February 9th. We'll go live on site at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And this one's going to run for 5 weeks with a close date of March 16th. The first lot will close at 7 p.m. and we will go 30 seconds intervals throughout the auction until we hit the end. So
The website address?
www.wheatlandauctionservices.com.
If you guys ever,
Awesome.
we'd love to have you. I know if you have a big event coming, a big auction, you guys should guest host with us sometime.
Yeah.
For the whole hour. I don't think you've ever done that.
We've never done that. That would be a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Good.
All right, Chuck and Stace, we wish you the best with your auction and good luck.
All right.
Yep,
Thank you
thanks,
so
guys.
much.
Thanks
Good
to you
see everyone.
both.
Chuck and Stacy, Wheatland Auctions, good people, good people.
It's
All right,
weird,
Pro.
one of the few guests we have on the show, friends of the show, that they have both sides, with the retail and then the auction
And let me
house.
let
It's
me tell you
interesting.
something. I've seen video of their store, man. It is state of the art. It's not your mom and pop walk in and get
Right.
some bubble gum.
Right.
And, it's really all right. Mike Provenzale from Heritage Auctions. Michael, how are you, buddy?
I'm doing great. How are you guys?
Good. You look kind of kind of cool with the beard going, and you look good.
Always, right? Or is this something new?
He's
Yeah.
always had the beard.
Now you're in Chicago, right?
Yeah, we're having a preview at our Chicago office on Hubbard Ave in Chicago. We've got some highlights from the Platinum auction, and I'm giving a presentation on Thursday at a cocktail event, guys.
Oh.
The drinks will be the main attraction there.
And may I ask what the topic of the talk is going to be?
I'm going to talk about authentication process, which we obviously do a lot of. We deal with all the top authenticators in the industry, and people always ask me about it. So I put together a presentation. I'm not an authenticator at all. I know enough to be dangerous, but I know all these guys. I've seen their processes, and it's really fascinating. So,
but you are authentic, so you got
that's
most
true.
of it. Sure.
Although I will say Heritage will be rolling out a AI Mic Pro auctioneer in the next few months. So look forward to that.
I have two questions about your presentation. One is a suggestion. Wait till they have a couple of drinks before you start.
Come on.
It's
I'm
always
a seasoned public speaker.
It's always better. And
you open the bar and then start the presentation 2 hours later. That's
when I do like my roast and stuff like that, the drunker the better. I'm a lot funnier when people are not coherent. And two, will you be bringing out the blue suit?
I do have the blue suit with me here. I know it's a favorite of you guys, but I think I'm going to wear the blue suit tomorrow.
Okay.
And I've got a new suit. You guys will be happy to hear that.
Michael, I'm going to
Nice.
tell you though,
Nice.
that blue suit is gold. You know what that suit is like? I'll tell you what that suit is like. It's like having one of Kramer's outfits. And Kramer has some outfits that he wore that just stuck in your mind. I'm telling you, your suit is gold. It
It
is
is.
gold.
It's like
Yeah,
Super Dave Osborne's outfit.
my
It's like
my fashion palette is much like the hobby, like you guys were just discussing. There's some modern to it, but vintage also is important to have.
Hey, let's talk about that, Mike, before we get into the specifics. So obviously, we want to talk about the platinum, but Mike and Stacy, we were talking about vintage, modern, ultra modern, and this past weekend I was at a relatively big card show down in West Palm Beach, and I was shocked at the amount of Pokemon dealers there. Number one, and doubly shocked at the lack of vintage. So we went from Pokemon to modern to ultra modern to vintage, and that's in that order. Are you seeing anything, or was it just a fluke?
Well, I mean, Pokemon and trading card games in general has gotten so big. A couple years ago, we opened a trading card games department that does Pokemon and Magic the Gathering and all those. And that department has been incredibly successful. And we do shows with them. If anybody goes to the Dallas Card Show, you'll see our booth is half sports and half trading card games. So that has become a big part of the market.
is it
Uh,
kids? Is it kids and adults that are into this?
Both. I would say that the adult side is, I would agree that probably mid 40s and younger is kind of the demographic for that. But I think it's a great thing for the industry. It's just an expanding of it. Right after the pandemic, everything just kind of exploded and a lot of new people came in and nobody, they had a lot to learn, but I think things have settled down. But ultimately, what's good for the industry is people collecting what they love, whatever it is. You get kids that, they want to collect LeBron and Mahomes and Burrow and all these modern guys, and that's how it started for me too. I was collecting, Troy Aikman and Michael Jordan, and then you start going backwards and learning about the history of the game from that. Nobody jumps into sports at 8 years old and wants to know about Babe Ruth and Wilt Chamberlain. That's
True.
just not how it works.
No, you're right.
But then all those auxiliary things like Pokemon. I mean, Pokemon is the biggest IP in the world. It's bigger than Marvel. It's bigger than Disney. So there is a huge demographic that is way into that. And that's just great for our industry is more people collecting more things.
Funny story, guys. So right before we came down here, I have RA, and my rheumatologist is a great guy. He's a good friend. We work really closely together, and he's about I would say Brian's about 38 years old. So he knows about the show. He knows about me, the books, all that stuff. So at my last appointment with him back at the end of December, he came into the office. I had an appointment, and he said, "You are going to get me divorced." I said, what did I do?"
First time you've ever heard that, probably.
He said, um,
Other than
when I,
from Ellen.
right,
Of course, from
when I
somebody
was,
outside the house.
he said, when I was a kid, I used to collect Pokemon, and I was hooked on it. He said, in the last 2 weeks, I've spent $10,000 on Pokemon cards. He says,
Wow.
I'm absolutely hooked. And he says, I'm on every website, every auction house you can think of. So that's indicative of what you just said, Michael.
Two things about that. You're getting up there when you're friendly with a rheumatologist. That's not something 20-somethings talk about or
Good
even
point.
know who that
Very
is.
good point.
And your
two-
rheumatologist is 30 years younger than you are. Sorry, like almost 40 years younger than you are.
Listen,
But yeah,
very tough room. Very tough.
there is big money in Pokemon cards. I mean, we've sold some for 6 and 7 figures even. But the great thing about it is it's just like sports. That's the ultimate high end. But there's plenty of cards for a few $100, a few $1,000, whatever level you want to collect that at as well. It's out there.
Mikey, do you understand Pokemon? Do you follow it? Do you know what it's all about, honestly?
I know a little bit. I've learned from our department. I kind of missed that. I guess I'm 45, so I guess I was just a little too
Yeah.
old for that.
Yeah.
But I've learned a lot from that department. I'm also an auctioneer. I've called some of their auctions, so you have to learn about it. And my kids have started getting into it. You know, it's still out there. There's still shows. There's still movies. So that's another thing. It's just like sports. It's a huge IP, so they keep making product and they keep putting out shows and movies, so that just increases the fan base.
All right, listen, Mike Prove is in the house. We're going to take a quick break. Later on, Michael Variale is going to be joining us. When we come back, the height of this program, because I created it, the GACS AI Baseball Tournament that was put together by AI Danny, the baseball savant, who happens to be my son-in-law, and he's a little strange. Trust me, he's a little strange. Hang in there. We'll be right back.
Hi, I'm Rebecca Curry, a two-time child cancer survivor, recipient, and advocate for Lucy's Love Bus. The mission of Lucy's Love Bus, 501c3 nonprofit, is to provide joy, comfort, and quality of life for the entire family of children with cancer. Since 2006, they have delivered love and comfort to over 3,000 children with cancer and their family members across New England. The dream of Lucy Grogan, an 11-year-old cancer patient, was to help kids with cancer who are suffering right now, before there is a cure, by offering free integrative therapies like art, music, horseback riding, and many other activities. Unfortunately, Lucy passed away, but her dream lives on, and today Lucy's Love Bus is thriving.
I'm Red Sox Hall of Famer Rico Petrocelli. I hope that you'll consider supporting Lucy's Love Bus and all of those children who have been stricken by cancer. The Great American Collectibles Show is partnering with Lucy's Love Bus to help these kids. Let's continue Lucy's dream. Please go to lucyslovebus.org for more information.
Since 1996, Brian Drent and the staff at Denver's Mile High Card Company have led the charge in the collectibles hobby. Mile High is a full-service dealer specializing in buying and selling cards and offers a competitive consignment program for all collectors. Whether it be their computerized want list service, appraisals, or auction services, Mile High has it all. If you've been searching for a company with a selection of high-grade vintage 1888 to 1970 baseball cards and memorabilia that shares your passion, aim high, Mile High. Go to milehighcardco.com or call 303-840-2784 for more information.
For more than 30 years, Robert Edward Auctions has been the industry leader when it comes to helping you realize the most money for your baseball cards and sports memorabilia. In addition to their unparalleled reputation for honesty and integrity, they reach the largest number of bidders in the business and offer lower seller's fees, as well as generous cash advances up front on your valuable material. Contact them today at 908-226-9900. That's 908-226-9900 or at robertedwardauction.com.
Hi, this is Dan from Memory Lane Auctions, here to remind you that the renowned Memory Lane Collectibles Company has served as a beacon of light to the collecting community for the past several decades. Indeed, folks, it has been our utmost privilege and pleasure to provide the most enthusiastic collectors with an abundance of the finest sports cards and memorabilia for America's most coveted sports personalities via our world-class auctions. Whether you choose either a private sale transaction or the auction route, Memory Lane cordially invites you to reach out to us to maximize the value of your prized possessions. Also, it is not just sales that we pride ourselves on being the best of the rest, because if you are seeking a particular keepsake for your esteemed gathering, we will be relentless in our quest to find that special piece to fulfill your collecting dreams. So no time to wait. Reach out to us today for the purposes of capitalizing on our unparalleled marketing capabilities. Simply pick up the phone and dial 877-606-5263. That's 877-606-LANE, or find us on the World Wide Web at www.memorylaneinc.com. Now is the time for your valued consignment to ultimately become another one of Memory Lane's record-setting prices.
This is Brian Drent, president of Mile High Card Company. Is your sports card and memorabilia collection properly insured? For easily replaced personal property, homeowners insurance is all most people need. But for prized possessions that you may have spent a lifetime collecting, it doesn't go nearly far enough. Collectables Insurance Services has been insuring for over 50 years. They offer a full range of protection and a $0 deductible at an affordable rate with no appraisals required. I know because they insure my collection. If you have a minute, go to collectinsure.com and learn more about insuring your personal card or memorabilia collection.
How would you like to own the bat that was used by your favorite player when he hit that towering home run or game-winning base hit? Now look no further than JT Sports, specializing in the sale and authentication of professional game-used bats. As the official authenticators of professional model game-used bats for PSA DNA, JT Sports will guarantee the authenticity of any bat purchased from them. JT Sports also buys and sells game-worn uniforms, gloves, and baseball equipment. The unique quality of the collectible is what JT Sports is all about. Give them a call at 609-487-8003 or check them out at GameUseBats.com.
Okay, we are back.
You all right?
Well, you know what the good thing is?
Dramatic pause.
You know what the best thing is about working out of your home studio?
You can go eat something between
Exactly.
breaks. Yeah.
You can go I got some peanuts. I had a half a banana.
Apple.
Have an apple. It's pretty cool. All right. It is time right now. Oh, hold on. Okay. It's time right now for the Great American GACS Baseball Tournament, brought to us each week by our good friend Paul Borges and the staff at PB Collectables, your neighborhood card shop. Go to pbcollectibles.com to purchase that special vintage card that you have been looking for. All right, Pro. So here's what we did. We have a baseball tournament going on. We're starting with the Sweet 16. Real quickly, AI produced what they consider the top 16 teams of all time. I'll go through them real quick. Number 1, the 1927 Yankees. Number 2, the 1906 Chicago Cubs. Number 3, the 75 Big Red Machine. Number 4, the 1998 New York Yankees. Number 5, the 2001 Seattle Mariners. 6, the 39 Yankees. 7, the 61 Yankees. 8, the 84 Detroit Tigers. 9, the 1919 Chicago Black Sox. 10, the 2004 Red Sox. 11, the 42 St. Louis Cards. 12, the 86 Mets. 13, the 95 Atlanta Braves. 14, the 70 Baltimore Orioles. 15, the 1929 Athletics. And number 16, the 1955 Brooklyn Dodgers.
What happens if the 1919 Black Sox make it to the championship game?
What do you think? They get suspended and they get thrown out of the league?
Does AI have suspension? I want that to happen. I'm rooting for that to happen.
All right. Here's where we're at so far. Week 1, the 1927 Yankees defeated the 1955 Brooklyn Dodgers 7-6. Week 2, the 1906 Chicago Cubs beat the 1929 Philadelphia Athletics beat the 1906 Chicago Cubs 4-3. Week 3, the Big Red Machine beat the 1970 Baltimore Orioles 5-4. Week 4, the 98 Yankees beat the 95 Atlanta Braves 6-2. And this week, the 2000 Seattle Mariners versus the 1986 New York Mets. And here's the breakdown. The starting pitcher, which I was surprised, the starting pitcher was Freddie Garcia and Dwight Gooden for the Mets. First inning, Chuck Knobloch. I get the wrong game. Okay, here we go. First inning, Lenny Dykstra leads off with a walk, steals second, eventually scores on a Keith Hernandez single. Mets 1-0. Third inning, we're going to jump to the third inning. The Mariners, Ichiro singles and scores on an Edgar Martinez RBI double, ties the game 1-1. Sixth inning, Gary Carter launches a 2-run homer off of Freddie Garcia, putting the Mets up 3-1. Seventh inning, John Olerud's single plates Ichiro, trimming the Mets lead to 3-2. And in the ninth inning, JM, Jesse Orosco strikes out Brett Boone with the tying run on second, and the Mets hang onto a 3-2 win.
So the Mets won 3-2.
Mets win 3-2. What do you guys think of that? Who's the better team? Pro.
First off, I like that AI didn't just select World Series winners. It
Oh,
went
God, no.
deep. Yeah. That would have been a fun game to watch. I'll say that. That Mariners team was one of the best, just pure talent wise, across the board. Great lineup. But the Mets were a really complete team in '86, so it doesn't surprise me that they pulled it out.
JM?
Yeah, the Mets were. I mean, and I think we talked about this a couple weeks ago. They were also like that was, and I hate to give them any compliments, clearly, but that was like an '86 Mets win too, even in AI. Scrappy, don't give up. That. I mean, that's a team like if you could have lifted that team up and put them in Boston, Zap, we would have loved that team.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? Because they was, Wally Backman and Dykstra and I like Gary Carter. That was a hard-nosed, tough team, tough to put away, as we know. So
I was at two of those 86 games
in Fenway.
at Fenway. Yeah.
So were the ones that the Mets won, both like 3 and 4? Yeah.
Both.
Yeah. That's where by the way, that's where the Red Sox lost that series.
Absolutely.
They came home up 2-0 and that was it. Yeah.
But here's a funny backstory. So a bunch of us from the wonderful industrial city of Lawrence, Massachusetts, we had a guy on the inside, an usher. That was one of us.
Guy on the inside, an usher.
So, like 10 of us would show up at the game, no tickets, and a $10 bill. Bing, bing. Come on in, guys. Bing. The guy had such a racket going. And so we'd get in there and then we'd have to kind of spread out. But it was fun.
Is that the same guy that let Affleck and Jeremy
I was just
Renner
about to say.
on the town? We know Mike. We saw Mike. Mike let us in.
Anyway, two good teams. And I kind of agree with the Mets. The Mets were a good team.
Yeah, they were a good team.
Remember Willie Mays was on that team? Was it? No, that was I'm sorry. I'm thinking of the 69 Mets. But there was somebody
No. Willie Mays was on the 73 Mets.
No, it was the 69, wasn't it?
It was not. I don't think Willie Mays was on the 69. I don't think so. You want to bet? You want to bet dinner when you come
Yeah,
back?
I was going to say, you guys got to make a bet.
Wait a second. Willie Mays wasn't on the 69 Miracle Mets?
No, he was still with the Giants then. He didn't go to the Mets till later. He was on the 73 Mets that lost to the A's in the World Series.
That's right. That was you're right.
So you're buying dinner for me and Karen when you come back.
Not a problem. It'd be my pleasure. There was somebody else. Was Don Buford on that team also?
Don Buford was on the Orioles. Who you think?
I know. At the end of his career, wasn't he on the Mets?
Oh, I don't know. That I don't know. I could look that up, but yeah. I'm gonna look it up. Why don't you do the show, and I'll look that up.
All right, let's talk. Let's get back to Pro. Pro, tell us about the Platinum auction.
Really exciting auction. Our Platinum auction is always the premier event in the industry, and this one's no exception. What's overwhelming me is the game-worn material in it. We have a 61 Maris pinstripe jersey, photo matched, a 57 Mantle pinstripe photo match, a Pete Maravich LSU jersey photo match from his sophomore season. So they couldn't play the freshman year, sophomore season. So that's his rookie LSU jersey.
Yeah.
And then very cool, we have from the 68 Olympics in Mexico, John Carlos, who is the sprinter that won the bronze medal, and they did the Black Power salute. We have his jacket that he was wearing on the medal stand. And it's consigned by him. It has this amazing backstory. He met a runner at the Olympics from Africa and gave him the jacket afterwards. And that family kept it for 50 years. And then when that sprinter died, his son gave it back to John Carlos.
Wow. That is a crazy neat item.
Unbelievable. No, seriously.
Wow. Tommy Smith's jacket is in the Smithsonian. So that one's off limits. And John Carlos, he knows how important it is, and he wants to find a new custodian for it. So that's why he put it up for auction.
Michael, when you get consignments from some of these biggies, I mean, you're the guy that kind of deals with them, right? Typically?
Usually what happens is one of the salesmen deals with them and then brings it in, and then I take over as far as the marketing. And we have some great collections in this. We have part 2 of the James Harrison collection, the Pittsburgh Steeler linebacker. He is an incredible person, and I think he could still play and be effective. And then we have the Macho Man Randy Savage collection, material that he wore. And then we have the Von Erichs collection. So we have 2 huge wrestling collections.
Now, do I
So
know who the consignor was of that material personally?
probably. The Von Erich stuff comes from Kevin Von Erich.
Oh,
You
Oh,
know,
wow. Okay.
I
how
grew up
about
in Dallas, and they were just legends.
They were huge. Yeah.
and wait a minute,
And
who did the Randy stuff come from? I assumed that came from Mike Hefner.
no, that's from Randy Savage family member.
No kidding.
Really?
Yeah.
You know, Mike. Have you ever seen his collection?
Well, he has an incredible wrestling collection. He was way ahead of the curve on that.
I walked into his house, Mike. Ellen and I, my jaw dropped. He had a room, I don't know, probably 30 by 30, just wrestling. He had the costumes of just about every wrestler that ever wrestled. Matter
You
of
know,
fact,
20 years ago, people were probably saying he was a fool for collecting that stuff. And then now, it's become even bigger than it was back then.
Prove,
And
did you see the movie The Iron Claw
I
about the Von
did.
Erich? It's unbelievable
I saw
story.
those
Yeah.
guys wrestle at the Sportatorium in Dallas as a
Wow.
lad.
Yeah.
So it's really special to see it in person. We have their Hall of Fame plaques from the whole family, and the proceeds from the auction are going to the Agape Grief Counseling Camp, which helps children with grief and loss. So
Yeah.
a really
Wow.
fitting charity for the Von Erich family.
100%. Yeah.
very cool, very cool.
Unbelievable.
Yeah, I mean, wrestling. It's just I was a wrestling freak when I was a kid, but this is way before your time, both of you guys. This is during the Iron Sheik and Spiris Arion and Professor Toro Tanaka. Those guys were
The vintage
awesome.
I remember all those guys.
They
Yeah,
were awesome.
sure.
They
Yeah.
really were.
Hey,
Hey,
Pro, go ahead.
Go ahead.
I just want to ask a question. Pro, let's talk. We had the Wismans on too, and they're in Pennsylvania. We should have mentioned the Eagles for them, but this Super Bowl can be or might be historic in that the Chiefs are trying to be the first team to ever win 3 straight Super Bowls in the Super Bowl era. We know Mahomes is already legendary, but he's building his legend. But this is one of those things no one has ever done before. Talk about Mahomes now in the hobby, but more so, if they win, what does this do for him? And can he one day, or maybe even not that far off, be in the upper echelon of athletes in terms of collectibles?
I think if they can win on Sunday, that's really going to take him up to another level.
Yeah.
Brady's unquestionably at the top. He's got the most titles. Mahomes, it would seem, has at least a shot to get there.
Yeah.
But nobody's ever done it. You look at those dominant teams in the 60s, the Packers, and the 70s, the Steelers, the 49ers in the 80s, the Cowboys in the 90s, and the Patriots in the aughts. Nobody's ever done it. So if he can do it, that will be a notch for him that no other quarterback can claim. I think he is so popular among collectors, and there's a lot of product out there, but the more accolades he achieves, the better the prices are going to be. There is some Chiefs backlash out there. People are just getting tired of them, but I don't think that's really reflected in the industry, because that just comes down to how great the player is. And as a Cowboys fan, I'm going to be rooting for him very strongly.
Something with all due respect to the Wismans, I hate the Eagles. So I'm rooting for Kansas City. Hey, Pro, let's talk about the Paul Skeens card with the patch and the 11-year-old kid. My question to you is, do you take the money and run? What do you do if you're him?
If I'm the 11-year-old kid, I take the money and run. Are you crazy? I mean, I totally get it. I I had a what I will say is very low end collection when I was 11 years old, and if I had gotten something that was six figures or more, I would have sold it, and part of that money would go to helping my collection, but you know, having that kind of that's life changing money right
It
there.
really is. I mean, it
Yeah.
was like, I'm happy for an 11-year-old kid. That's who you want.
Perfect story. Perfect story. I loved Skeen said on the talk show the other night that best case scenario was an 11-year-old pulling it. Worst case is a 50-year-old collector. So, and that's what everybody wants to see with these card chases is, there's plenty of people like me and my age and older that are trying to get these cards, but everyone can be happy when a kid gets it.
Absolutely.
If I had pulled it, nobody would be happy about that but me and Heritage.
JM?
I have a question, Tim. We're on the cusp of baseball season starting up again, pitchers and
Oh, yeah.
catchers. Let's talk about Otani a little bit. Because my question to you, Prov, is we know he's great. We know he's going to put up crazy stats at the plate. If let's say something, the Dodgers just said, we're not going to pitch him again. Does that dim his long-term greatness in terms of the hobby? Obviously, if he does pitch and he becomes a bit of a modern day Babe Ruth, I think that takes him to a level of really only maybe one other guy has been, and that's Ruth. But if he doesn't, isn't he just another guy that's going to put up big stats at the plate?
Interesting question. I mean, Ruth gave up on pitching.
He did.
I mean, he didn't give up on it. The Yankees made him give up on it.
Yeah, right.
So really similar situation. I love to see him pitch. I think it's so unique, but the injury he had was a serious one, and
Yeah.
I would hate to see his whole career diminished because of injuries. I think if he's just playing the field and at bat, that the injury risk is a lot smaller, and I think every baseball fan just wants to see him out there.
As a sports fan, and this is not a collectibles question, more a baseball question, I've always thought, why don't you make him the closer?
Yeah.
You have him in the whole game, and then you just do a switch out, bring him in to close the game. I mean, less wear and tear on that arm.
That's a good.
I mean, it's an interesting
Good point.
thought for the Dodgers.
That could add another little footnote and interesting part to his career to start out a starter and then become a closer.
Yeah.
Pretty rare for that to happen. So that is something that would make him a little more unique. I would love to see that. Yeah, I just love seeing him out there. So
I know. Yeah.
it would worry me if he was pitching or don't pitch him as often. They've got a really strong staff,
Right.
top to bottom. So, they could go six deep and have him be number six, something like
Sure.
that. But I like the closer idea.
Not bad, JM. Hey, Prov, before we take a break, the election. You think the election or will the election affect the hobby at all?
There's always a lot of talk about that. I don't think it has a lot of effect on the industry. There could always be auxiliary factors about how the economy does. This week we were talking about tariffs and how that if we get material from all over the world on consignment, and there is an effect for us. So I had to read a very lengthy email about tariffs and how that was going to affect importing and sending material out.
Well, hold on a second.
Overall, I don't think it has a huge effect.
All right, but so let me ask you this before we take a break. Pokemon cards come from China, don't they?
Well, Japan, but
Japan. Okay, I thought it was China. I'm sorry. That's so
but
much I know about Pokemon.
there are, the big thing for us is that we have consigners and bidders in every country on earth, active consigners in every single country. So those aspects of international relations do have an effect for people that are moving material back and forth. We have to deal with customs a lot. We do a lot of business with Canada. There's a very passionate, very big collector community in Canada. We go to shows up there as well. So I'm lucky to say that the day-to-day of dealing with those logistics is above my pay grade. But it is, that is something that is a factor for people that deal internationally.
We are chatting with Mike Provenzale from Heritage Auctions. We're going to take a quick break. And when we come back, our other good friend, Michael Variale, is going to be joining us. Unless he's like, he's pretty portly guy. He may be like having
It's great.
he may be having a snack or something right
So
now.
always good to preview a guest as portly.
Yeah, come on, guys. Come on, guys.
Hang in there. We'll be right back.
Hi, I'm Rebecca Curry, a two-time child cancer survivor, recipient, and advocate for Lucy's Love Bus. The mission of Lucy's Love Bus, 501c3 nonprofit, is to provide joy, comfort, and quality of life for the entire family of children with cancer. Since 2006, they have delivered love and comfort to over 3,000 children with cancer and their family members across New England. The dream of Lucy Grogan, an 11-year-old cancer patient, was to help kids with cancer who are suffering right now, before there is a cure, by offering free, integrative therapies like art, music, horseback riding, and many other activities. Unfortunately, Lucy passed away, but her dream lives on, and today Lucy's Love Bus is thriving.
I'm Red Sox Hall of Famer Rico Petrocelli. I hope that you'll consider supporting Lucy's Love Bus and all of those children who have been stricken by cancer. The Great American Collectibles Show is partnering with Lucy's Love Bus to help these kids. Let's continue Lucy's dream. Please go to lucyslovebus.org for more information.
Pristine Auction is a family-owned and operated online auction specializing in autographed memorabilia, sports cards, coins, art, and collectibles. Since their founding in 2010, they've grown to 2 facilities in Phoenix, Arizona, totaling over 60,000 square feet. Jared Cavalier and an incredible staff of over 150 team members serve a very large customer base and enjoy every minute of it. By working with leading authentication companies, Pristine ensures all items are 100% authentic. In addition, third-party authenticators regularly travel to Pristine Auction to provide authentication services on site. Pristine Auction strives to operate its business in a way that's honoring to God, their families, and their customers. With a strong focus on speed, quality, and premier customer service, their mission is to be the leading online auction for every level of collector and fan. Pristine also works for Hope Sports and Identity Hoops International, traveling to Mexico to build houses for the less fortunate. Pristine Auction offers several online auction formats with thousands of auctions ending each day. For more information, go to pristineauction.com. That's Pristine Auction, the best in the business.
If you're a discerning collector interested in owning the most important pieces in the hobby, look no further than Leland's Auctions. The original sports auction and appraisal house, Leland's was established in 1985 by legendary Pioneer founder Joshua Leland Evans. And today, President Mike Hefner carries on their tradition. From the Tom Brady card and memorabilia collection to the famed Boston Garden Auction to high-end card auctions from every major sport, Leland's has always maintained the highest standards. Go to Lelands.com and get your bid in. That's Leland's, the hobby's leading sports auction house for 4 decades.
It's often been said that championships are won on the practice field, and world records come only to those willing to work harder than everybody else. Heritage Auctions is the world's largest collectibles auctioneer because we believe that becoming the best is only an invitation to the challenge of remaining the best. This requires the skills of the hobby's top experts, capable of identifying and maximizing value for our consigners. It requires the most visited website in the industry, courting a global audience of collectors over 1.5 million strong. It requires a dedicated press department that expands our global reach far beyond the entrenched hobby marketplace. It's hard work, but a simple premise. Present the finest collectibles to the largest population of potential buyers, and world records will come. We invite all listeners to put the unmatched power of Heritage Auctions to work for you. Auction evaluations are always free, and our commission-based fee structure ensures that our interests are always aligned. Highest possible price for your collectibles. There will always be new world records to chase, so let's chase them together. Visit our website at ha.com and request your no-obligation review today.
Hi, this is Dan from Memory Lane Auctions, here to remind you that the renowned Memory Lane Collectibles Company has served as a beacon of light to the collecting community for the past several decades. Indeed, folks, it has been our utmost privilege and pleasure to provide the most enthusiastic collectors with an abundance of the finest sports cards and memorabilia for America's most coveted sports personalities via our world-class auctions. Whether you choose either a private sale transaction or the auction route, Memory Lane cordially invites you to reach out to us to maximize the value of your prized possessions. Also, it is not just sales that we pride ourselves on being the best of the rest, because if you are seeking a particular keepsake for your esteemed gathering, we will be relentless in our quest to find that special piece to fulfill your collecting dreams. So no time to wait. Reach out to us today for the purposes of capitalizing on our unparalleled marketing capabilities. Simply pick up the phone and dial 877-606-5263. That's 877-606-LANE, or find us on the World Wide Web at www.memorylaneinc.com. Now is the time for your valued consignment to ultimately become another one of Memory Lane's record-setting prices.
Hey, I'm Mike Petroselli. If your company is looking for the best in marketing and promotional items, you'll hit a home run with Petroselli Marketing. With over 8,000 suppliers and 650,000 imprint-ready items, we can get your company the visibility it needs to get your maximum exposure. Whether it be office promotions, wearables, automotive, sports items, and everything in between, Petroselli Marketing can do it all. Our design staff will even work with you from concept to delivery and customize your products. At Petroselli Marketing Group, we will get your brand in front of your audience. Contact us at info@petrosellimkt.com or call us at 603-880-3202. That's Petroselli Marketing, where no dream is impossible.
So we asked the question, how does your company or organization do promotions? Zap, imprinted products keeps your brand in front of your customers more than any other form of advertising. For the best on-time service and new ideas for your next project, give Petroselli Marketing Group a call at 603-880-3202 or email info@petrosellimkt.com.
JM, you gotta upgrade your glasses. They're boring.
You have to shave that stupid thing under your nose because I'm thinking you had a drink of milk and you spilled it on your chin.
My wife likes it. That's all that counts.
Well, then that's all that counts because I like her. So
That's so judgmental today.
really,
All right, listen.
I mean,
We, it's all in good humor. Just, last week. This is the God's honest truth. Last week, in the middle of the show, I'm looking out here by the pool, and I was watching two iguanas making love. It was absolutely this is the God's honest truth. It
Not
was
gonna
like
become a segment on the show.
I was going to film
Perhaps
it.
Nature Watch. Maybe?
I was going to film it. All right. Before we bring
I
in Michael,
have 6 jokes and can't say any of them.
before we bring in Michael Variale, why don't you tell our good friends about our friends at the Philly Show?
I can't see because of my boring glasses. East Coast Sports Marketing is pleased to present wait to see what I wear next week. The Philadelphia Sports Collector Show, known as the Philly Show, of course, from Friday, March 7th through Sunday, March 9th, held at the Greater Philadelphia Expo Center, Hawley and B, Station Ave, Oaks, PA. Shop over 300 of your favorite hobby dealer booths and over 140,000 square feet of sports collectibles heaven from the 1800s to present day. Major sports auction houses and third-party grading and authentication companies will be on hand to assist your collecting needs. The Philly Show is family-friendly and all kids 12 and under get in free. Autograph guests to include Philadelphia Eagles Super Bowl hero Nick Foles, 2008 World Series champ Chase Utley, Baseball Hall of Famers Wade Boggs, Mike Schmidt, Steve Carlton, and many more. For more information, go to phillyshow.com. Remember, since 1975, the Philly Show is where it all started. I saw a great documentary on Mike Schmidt on MLB Network. Check it out if you can.
Yeah, we spent some time. I spent some time with him at the National with Rico.
Yeah.
Well, nice guy. Very nice guy. All right, let's bring in. This guy's been with us since day one, pretty much. A great, loyal customer, follower of the show,
Definitely.
and a collector himself. Kind of an eclectic Yeah, I like that word eclectic. He's a little eclectic.
He is.
Right? Michael Variale from sportscardsthehobby.com. Michael, how are you, brother?
Guys, thank you very much for having me on the show. As you know, I love the show. Mike, Provenzale, when I was younger, I had a hair just as thick as yours, and look what happened. My mom said, "Mike, you'll never lose your hair," and this is it.
You're
I look
just
like
opening up
J.M. and
Tom
Tom.
to take shots at you here. He's just been judging everyone's appearance all day.
That was a nice hat you had on, though.
Well, yeah, Michael, I'm surprised because you're a passionate Mets fan, correct?
Oh yes, 100%. Mets all the way.
Michael, tell us a little bit about your bit. Well, tell us about you as a collector. How long have you been collecting? Give us a little history.
Sure. As any kid growing up, collected the cards. My brother and I put the cards in the binder, and all those cards are worthless because all the edges are dented and stuff like that. We used to play a game with my cousins called baseball with the baseball cards. We're on our hands and knees, and we had to hit the card with a tinfoil ball and crawl around the basement. My cousins had a bar in the back that was the Green Monster, and so those cards went to the wayside.
Right.
Those are from roughly 75 all the way through like 80. And then I got back into it on a sad circumstances. My mom was sick, and I need something to take my mind off things. And I got back into collecting and started collecting, made some dumb mistakes, just like everyone else. And now I think I found my niche. Now, you guys are vintage, and you were talking earlier where I think the hobby is heading. And I think I might be ahead of the curve on this one.
And where is that?
The junk wax era of cards with signatures, and particularly of the stars that have 10-10 autos.
Couple of examples?
Sure, I got a couple of examples. Like, for example, this Ken Griffey, 1987 Bellington.
Yep.
This is only a pop 10, 1 of 10. I have 2 of 10. Another one is this Wayne Gretzky, Topps, 610, auto, only 7 graded higher. I collected this Ichiro card. At the time, it was a pop 2. Now it's a pop 6, numbered out of 100. The 2001 Geography card.
So is it just, Michael, is it primarily baseball? Any football or basketball?
Oh, yeah. We're getting there. And I picked up this in a trade. This is a Michael Jordan, numbered to 5. It's the highest one graded. Mike, I spoke to Jason Simmons. We're talking about this card. This might be heading your way. And that was bought. That was in a trade, that card, for one of the 2 vintage cards. Jackie Robinson card. I think it was the 1949 or 50. The one he's swinging like this. Actually, Tom had recommended to get that card, and I traded 2 of them along with a 1985 Nike Chromo PSA 10 for that Jordan.
Michael, Mike Pro, what are your thoughts on what Michael's saying regarding signed cards from that era? Actually, it seems like a pretty good model.
Yeah, and vintage signed cards have really taken off, and it's a good thought. What could be next is because there's so much of that junk wax era material out there, but there can be some gems in there. When we get people that contact us, usually they have a closet full of it, and it's just an overwhelming thing for them to go through it, for us to go through it, to find anything. So I think rarity is there for those signed cards from that era, which is what you're looking for.
Yeah, and I think the autograph does that. That separates it from, because that's my era of collecting too, and there are just so many of those out there. But the signature separates it. So, Mike Variale, tell us a little bit about sportscardsthehobby.com and what you're doing with that.
Well, it's basically my personal collection page. And on that page, my background as a teacher and as an entertainer. We're starting a series called the 2-minute timeout to learn. And it's just to help the kids, the dealers, just to give them a little better insight on how to approach a dealer, how dealers can portray themselves. It's about, like, say, for example, my main thing, if I'm a dealer at a show, this is my storefront. How am I going to present it? And I think a lot of dealers lose track of it. They're on their phone like this. When people walk through by my table, I was like, welcome to Sports Cards the Hobby. I'm Michael. Is there anything else I can help you with? And all of a sudden, everyone just lightens up.
Yeah.
Hey, I'm John. I'm Tom. But Sports Cards the Hobby, what I do is I feature my Instagram page and all the latest things that are going on. It's not it's just to inform people what I have, what I'm bringing to the show. Nothing crazy. The Facebook page, what I'll do is I'll interject some stories of really cool stories, that little segments that you see about different players on there. But
Yeah.
it's more provide some entertainment,
Great.
some education, because I think that education needs to be more on the forefront.
Michael, you're a retired school teacher, and now you have a pretty successful, unique entertainment company that I've seen you. You're not your run of the mill disc jockey. I mean, sometimes you show up at gigs with the London Philharmonic Orchestra. I mean, it's amazing how many musicians you bring in for a certain function, which really good. You guys, you do a great job, really good job. You really do. So what are you have? We got about 2.5 minutes left, 3 minutes left. Your collection. What are your top 3 cards that you like for you personally?
Me personally, and I know you guys are Red Sox fans. I'm a Met fan. This card is one of my favorites. It's a
Jeter.
Oh, Jeter.
Jeter, but it's the 2000 Subway World Series token card. It's actually Subway token in that card.
Okay.
It's a PSA 10 Pop 3. He was the MVP of the series, and that's one of my personal favorites for sure.
Awesome. Bro, want to tie you in here before we call it a day. Let's talk about the platinum auction. When does it start, first of all?
It's open for bidding at ha.com right now. It's 1,400 items. So everybody loves to talk about the 6 and 7 figure material, but there's something in there for everybody. And it'll close February 22nd and 23rd. If you're in Chicago, come by our office. We've got highlights on display here. Next week, the highlights will be on display in our New York office on Park Avenue. And then the week the auction closes, we'll have them on display in our home office in Dallas.
Nothing in Palm Beach, you cheapskates. Nothing.
We're setting something up for you guys to come to our office and do a show. So I'm looking forward to that.
Yeah, I reached out to Chris. Love to do that. I think we'd have some fun. I said as long as either Prove, Derek, or Joe O were there, one of the 3, I don't care. Or all 3 would be awesome. Michael, what about you? Michael Variale, what about you? What you have a schedule coming up for shows you're going to be doing?
Yes, actually, we have a show coming up, Super Bowl Sunday, over at Hofstra with JP, Jimmy Ryan. Jimmy Ryan runs a great show.
Jimmy's a great guy.
Yeah.
Loves Jimmy. He's I basically do his shows. I follow where he goes.
Jimmy has
on Long Island.
Jimmy has probably 2 of the greatest T206 sets in the world. Phenomenal. High-end stuff. I think one of them's a complete set. I could be wrong, but anyway. So you're going to be doing Hofstra. Anything else?
And then the following month, another local show in Plainview, Long Island, with JP Sports and Promotions.
Awesome. And you can be reached at sportscardsthehobby@gmail.com. Or you have a website too, though, right?
Yeah, Sports Cards the Hobby, Instagram, Facebook, YouTube. .com website, everything. Sportscards the Hobby.
And Prove, yours is?
MikeP@HA.com, or you can just DM us on any of our social media networks. I run those.
All right, Michael.
Good,
Michael, do me a favor. Keep in contact with JM, because at some point in time he is going to need some entertainment for the big event. That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying.
Mike, I may see you in Dallas.
She's a very lucky.
Come by. I'd love to see you.
Goes to Taylor.
All right. With that being said, Mike Pro, we love you. You know what you mean to us. Michael Variale, thanks for taking the time to come on the show with us. Special thanks to the Whismans, Chuck and Stacy. Go Kansas City, and to my good friend JM. Have a great week. Glad you're home.
By the way, not necessarily go Kansas City on my end, but all right.
That's what I'm saying.
Whatever. But John, welcome home, and I'm glad you got home safely. Next week, Rico is in the house. We're gonna have a special guest coming in. We're working on it. Don't want to say yet who it's going to be, but we'll find out this week. Chrissy Cunningham,
ladies and gentlemen.
Chrissy Cunningham, thanks for all you do. And to our viewers and listeners, we love you guys. Thanks for the great support, and happy collecting.